It's 2023. Happy New Year, everyone, to every viewer, every listener across the world. We're so glad we're back. It's our first program this year, and we are so glad you're watching us today. My name is Shegun Johnson, and we have got so many good things lined up for you. My colleagues across the world are in the studio with me. And so let me start with the lady in the house, Bidi Nana from Nigeria. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shego. Happy New Year. Thanks for
Yes.
having me here. Good morning, our viewers. Happy New Year. This year will be the best year for all of us. Good to have you here today.
Amen. And in faraway Toronto, Canada, we have our own man, Sir George. Sir George, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Good morning, Billy World. And then good morning, viewers around the world, and Happy New Year. It is good to be here with y'all.
Man in the seat of power in Abuja is Dr. Sita Anyemeka, a profound analyst and proprietor of Open University on Diplomacy. Dr. Sita Anyemeka, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Good morning, viewers.
The last but not the least is whom we call Massive Mark in Milan, Italia. And we all hope to come to Italy this year. What is happening in Italy, Mark, this year?
All the goodies is happening. Good morning, Dr. Shego. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year, gentlemen. BD, good morning.
Okay, let's go for it. We woke up on the 1st of January 2023, and we found that in all our inboxes, the letter of Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo. I can see Dr. Godwin Ibe from Moscow, Russia. You're welcome to the program, Godwin. Okay. Dr. President Olusegun Obasanjo woke us up with his wonderful letter, and he tried as much as possible to put a story of what has happened in the last 8 years of Buhari administration, and ended up by analyzing the three main contestants, Tinubu, Atiku, and Peter Obi, and he came up with the conclusion that Peter Obi has an edge over the rest, and everybody has called it an endorsement. And Peter Obi, and of course, all the enemies of Obasanjo, they have pounced on the letter and they have torn him down. When I say enemies, I'm talking of the presidency. Shehu Garuba first wrote his own and decried and denounced Obasanjo's antecedents and everything. Then others like Dele Alake, who was the commissioner for information for Tinubu many years ago, wrote and destroyed anything Obasanjo ever did. And many enemies of Obasanjo have condemned. Now, most supporters of Peter Obi have said, well, when Obasanjo endorsed Buhari in 2014, nobody spoke anything that this man was bad. In fact, Tinubu called him and said, sir, the ship is ready, be our captain. Now, tables have turned. Maybe let me just quickly put in the baskets before I start inviting my colleagues. Edwin Clark, you know, the strong man of Southside, he has endorsed Peter Obi. Gumi, can you believe he has endorsed Peter Obi? Not to talk of the battered governor of Benue State. He too has endorsed Peter Obi. We'll just stop there because I really want my colleagues to have an input in this, and we will give it time because on the 25th of February, a new president will be elected, hopefully, and Nigeria's shape will be made for the next 4 years at least. Let me start from my man in Toronto, Canada, Sir George. Of all these endorsements, what do you make of them?
Well, endorsement is endorsement, but it depends on who is endorsing who. Endorsement does not guarantee the candidate of any particular position in politics, but it will help actually. But personally, Obasanjo has played an important role in Nigerian politics. The world at large, the political world, the diplomatic world at large respects the man highly because he's been considered to be the father of democracy when it comes to Africa. That's how they look at him. Obasanjo was one of the greatest, one of the leaders of the world's ex-president, and they highly honor his opinion. Now, listen to this. During the time when Yaradua died, Obasanjo was single-handedly negotiated with the Fulani oligarchy to allow Jonathan to, be the president because he was the vice. It took a while. If we will remember, Obasanjo made a promise to the Northerners and said, after 8 years, after 6 years, we will return the presidency back to the North. When Jonathan decided to go a little further, Obasanjo got upset and tore his card openly. And that was when fear came upon Jonathan. So eventually, Jonathan conceded the election. He did not lose the election. Now, most of you will understand what I'm saying. So what is happening today now is that most of our leaders that are intelligent, they know the person they trust to bring peace in Nigeria, security to Nigeria, and change things around. So Obasanjo endorsing Peter Obi is a wise move. And most of them that are endorsing him also is a wise move. But I'm going to let all know something. Something is happening. The world is listening to this man. And something is going on as we speak. Once he endorses somebody, they already know the reason why he's endorsing. Because he will bring about peace in Nigeria, in the political world, and eventually turn the tides around for us economically.
Thank you. Dr. Osita, some have said that can endorsement turn to votes on the day of election? What will you say? Edwin Clark, Obasanjo, Gumi, Autumn, will all these, those are just 5 votes or 4, if you can. So will this turn to thousands and millions of votes?
Yes, it will. And yes, it can sustain relationships too. But let me also say this. The strength of an endorsement, it tells you who is being endorsed and why. The strength of endorsement also comes from the other side saying this is how the endorsement will work. Remember, in the letter, we can summarize a couple of things that the former president said: age, character, strength, fortitude, capacity, and performance. He didn't just say my next candidate is this. He's a very smart man. Instead of saying something about Nigeria, he wrote a book. Instead of saying something carelessly about his endorsement, he wrote a letter. These are facts that you can just go and verify. These are things that you can say to yourself, I have proof that he said this. There are no denials. But look at Obasanjo too. As a matter of fact, he will be counted as the oldest serving soldier. We've had military rule in this country.
Mm-hmm.
The man was handed over power as a soldier, as a civil soldier, and he took the power himself to handed it over to someone else. He wasn't in a hurry, to become a head of state. And then we all have our minuses here and there, but he had been consistent about love for Nigeria. Love for Nigeria. When you visit his library, the presidential library in Abeokuta, you want to stay there forever because almost everything there defines Africa with Nigeria in the lead. That kind of leadership is what we want. We want someone who will be the hope while he's alive and also the legacy while he's gone. And he's trying to do that. Nigeria is a difficult place, very difficult place, but we need to follow and then make success of what we have.
Thank you, sir. Bidi, you are in Lagos. I know there are some followers of Obidat in Lagos, but also Lagos is the seat of Tinubu. How has the letter been? How has the letter gone down with the people of Lagos?
The letter has not actually gone down well with them in Lagos, yeah, in Nigeria generally. People are reacting. But it's a normal thing. We're Nigerians. What do you expect from us? We're a society who doesn't want to say things the way it is. Like Dr. Osita said, This same Obasanjo endorsed Buhari in 2014. There was no issue. He endorsed the Afenifere and other group endorsed Atiku. In 2019, there was no issue. Not like Dr. Sita just said. It doesn't a candidate will help, but it does not actually mean winning of an election. He has said his own. Obasanjo is one person that represents a lot of people in Nigerian politics. If we talk about Nigerian politics, yes. And now there's this thing he said. He said among these contestants, none of them are sent. But considering their character antecedents, understanding their knowledge and who they are and what they represent, considering the situation of Nigeria presently, I think Obi is the person that we should look at. And I don't think there's anything wrong Obasanjo has said there. Obasanjo has been known with his way of writing letters, conveying his points to Nigerians. So people are reacting, they've said a lot of things, they're saying, they're revoking, they're not happy. But he has been doing it. Why is it that when things goes our own way, it's normal, but when it does not go our own way, it becomes a problem? Some of Obasanjo has been endorsing people would like, and it was okay, and now probably they don't want it. So it's becoming an issue that everybody should be discussed. And they're not calling Obasanjo's name. A lot of groups, they call him name, they've tried to scandal his person and his character. But you don't say that about that man. He's a very strong man. It will not stop him.
Definitely
Even if he wants
strong.
to say something tomorrow, no matter what you're
I
saying
wonder
or
where he gets his strength physically, but and also mentally a lot. Thank you very much, BD. Massive Mark in Milan. Also, Edwin Clark endorsed Peter Obi. Are we about to see some some Humpty Dumpty fall in APC? I mean, we got to be specific now. Will the Humpty Dumpty fall and break and cannot gather himself?
Will the Humpty Dumpty fall, break? What is happening, Dr. Shagun, is the conscience of this elder statesman is pricking them. And take note that they are mainly in the age where sooner or later some of them might be leaving planet Earth. So you don't want your conscience to disturb you all to your grave. So they are being truthful. They are being very, very. They are trying to really justify their conscience. Edwin Clark is yes, Niger Delta elder statesman. And he said it loud and clear. He didn't hide his feelings. He didn't swallow he spoke loud and clear in his old age. He said he's not ready to support, and he won't tell his people to support a man that doesn't know his exact age. A man that says a different age now and a different age. So that such a person doesn't have sincerity in him. Such a person is not truthful. Obasanjo, like you've all said, made his own statement too. And we know Obasanjo, like it's been said, to be a pioneer for democracy in Nigeria. So there's something about endorsement. When a new thing is coming up, and a previous older thing, yes, comes to say this new thing coming up is worthy, is a noble thing, is worthy of being selected. So that is what is happening. Yes, reactions are flying, but the elder statesmen have said what they've said, and they've chosen their own preferred candidate for the 2023 election. And like we also said, it doesn't mean, endorsement doesn't mean votes, but they have put their weight behind the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Dr. Godwin Ibe, I'm struggling to see you, but I'm sure you are in the studio. These people who are definitely influencers. Yes, I can see you, sir. How you doing? How is Moscow doing?
Thank you for having me. We're trying to enjoy the holidays, as you know, in Russia.
Yeah, you're looking good. You are looking good, I must say. I'm telling you.
Thank
Moscow
you.
should
Thank
be
you,
my
viewers,
next
for tuning
destination.
in. You should come. Yes, sure.
Okay, these influencers, OBJ, Edwin Clark, Shehu Gumi, Autumn, don't you think Peter Obi is piling up enemies against himself? Because the enemies of OBJ, enemies of Edwin Clark and Autumn and Shehu Gumi, they will now become the enemies of Peter Obi. And so in a way, while these people might also be influencing thousands and probably millions of people, so also is collecting enemies. What do you say, Doctor?
If you ask me, I think what is important is that they are speaking their mind. The freedom of speech allows them to say means they can have an opinion on any subject. Now, you might be surprised to find out that you might be enemies with someone on one topic and at the same time be friends with the person on a different topic because all your interests cannot align. We are seeing that even the people who are enemies of these influencers who probably support, who openly express support for His Excellency Peter Obi, you might find out that they have similarities maybe on this topic. Or maybe even they may not have had a share of the national cake in the APC. And we'll be looking forward to a different, how do you say, formation, maybe not 4-4-2, but 4-3-3. Yeah, like using football terminology,
Yes.
will be more beneficial to them. So I believe that that is a good idea, that they are a good outcome, that they're able to express their opinions. But what is most striking to me is the toggle of war that is being expressed by the presidency and Obasanjo. For example, they've said openly that Buhari's tenure has been more successful than Obasanjo, highlighting specifically the Niger Bridge as an example, saying that Obasanjo laid the first sword for the Niger Bridge in his first tenure, and in the second tenure came to turn it, but Buhari launched it and commissioned it. And so it's a landmark. It's evidence for a more successful government.
So, Dr. Ebe, wait a minute. You read the Obasanjo's letter and you read the presidency letter because it was signed by Shehu Garba, not by Buhari. But don't you think that was demeaning for the presidency to write such a thing about an ex-president? I mean, it was a character assassination, in my own opinion. What do you say quickly?
It clearly was meant, even if it didn't turn out to be, but it clearly was meant to be a character assassination attempt. And I don't think it was, considering the caliber of what Obasanjo has stood for, the fact that he's standing for, let me say, the youth, the majority, and his popularity spreads across not just the Southwest, but Southeast, even the North. The fact that he's allowed kind of inclusiveness in terms of believing in both the rotational policy and the competence and all of that. So I don't think it's enough to assassinate his character, but it only goes to show how much pain it is to the presidency, how much pain they feel.
Actually, that's the question I wanted to ask Sir George. You can accuse OBJ of everything in this world. You can never accuse him of tribalism. And here it comes to show that you might think it's because he had a clash with Tinubu while he was the president and Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. But one thing is, this endorsement has broken the back of tribalism of the Yoruba people who think Yoruba Lokon and all that kind of trash when it comes to choosing the best person. It's a trash to think tribalism should take effect in competent stage. Hasn't Obasanjo broken this backbone of tribalism among the Yorubas?
Oh, I believe that he has. And in all honesty, one of the things that I can tell you for sure, there are a lot of people from the Southeast that thought that Obasanjo has been against Igbos.
You see?
And they attacked me personally because of my relationship with the man. But talking to this man in person, you will know that his heart is like water. He cares about Nigeria very deeply. He cares about the welfare of Nigeria. He's not a tribal person, not at all. He doesn't believe in tribalism. He doesn't believe in, putting somebody there because they're from a particular area. Yeah, he believes in rotational presidency, and he's still clamoring for it, even now, because it brings about balance and equity and fairness. He believes in that. And that's one thing I love about that man. But by the way, this particular man here is so strong. When I went to visit him about 3 or 4 years ago, he actually challenged me to play squash with him. That he would beat me. He challenged me. He comes to my room, to see me almost every day that I was there. He would always say, "Come, son, let me go and show you the strength of an old man." I
can't believe this.
And yeah, he did. He challenged me several times, actually. So, this man is an elderly statesman. But you know what? As much as they might insult him and disregard him locally in Nigeria, the respect that they have for him internationally is almost next to the South African guru. What's his name again? Nelson Mandela. This is how they regard Obasanjo when it comes to Nigerian politics and politics in Africa.
Thank you, sir. For the sake of
sorry to cut you short. I believe it's fair to mention diaspora. The whole diaspora movement, which the organization is, we can give credit to Obasanjo for that.
Even
and
Naido.
I want also, yes, and I also Naido, yes, of course, and I also want to say that the lessons, he didn't just break tribalism in Yoruba in land, he broke it also in Igbo land. Tribalism is not a Yoruba thing. It's seen everywhere. Igbo, Yoruba, also everywhere. He broke that tribalism everywhere. So let it not be like as if we are accusing the Yoruba for one thing.
Well, I'm a Yoruba man, and I know how the Yoruba can think when it comes to insinuations, innuendos, and I'm breaking it. I'm supporting anyone who will break it. Of course, the Igbos can break it among themselves as well, but I will never allow a Yoruba man to fly an aeroplane that I am in if he has not gone to flying school. Are you getting me? So if he's not competent, I will never vote a Yoruba man. I mean, I'm just saying it. It doesn't mean the Yoruba people are bad, but it just means that tribalism is bad in politics. That's what we are trying to say. So whether it's Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, tribalism is bad, and a forum like this should say it plain and clear. Dr. Osita, no. For the sake of our viewers, we want to be spending 30 minutes on this program until February 25, so that we can talk politics, because it's going to affect a nation of 250 million people. Between now and February 25, when we'll be meeting, we'll be spending quality time on Nigerian politics, so that that nation could be better. Dr. Osita, please tell me what's going on the Nigerian political scene. How are we getting ready for February 25?
Muted.
In my state governor has given the executive fiat that any keke operator that has P2B sticker on the keke should be arrested.
I cannot believe this.
This is madness. This is very excruciating, because I can't even discuss it elsewhere. I'm saying it here now after I have been able to swallow my anger.
Is that? Will that not push people to then vote Peter Obi?
Yeah?
It may push people to go and vote Peter Obi.
That is the point. That was what they were telling him. Almost every, sorry, not almost, 80% of keke operators in Delta are non-Deltans. That is the truth. So, what is going on in Nigerian politics? We are up the creek without a paddle. We're just there looking at the boat. We don't even know the rhythm of what we want to do after all these years. That was why Obasanjo's letter was unique, because it shows an understanding of where the country should be at this time of our growth. So by the end of the day, what I was saying, we're saying that let's wake up and make this year the year. Otherwise, we will so sink, Dr. Shegun, we will so sink that being able to find a fig to hold us on will be difficult. So
thank you very much. Somebody is asking, which state are you from? Delta State.
Delta. It is Delta State, Francis Meribe.
Okay, thank you very much. Bidi, you are in Lagos, and we know how Lagos is influential in Nigeria. How we're getting ready for the 25th of February. From your feelings and feelers, how will you put Lagos?
Very, very ready. Yeah, very high in spirit in what that will happen come February 2023. You know, 2025 February election will affect every other election that will take place in Nigeria. After 2025 election, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of shifts. Yes, the presidential election in Nigeria will actually determine what happens in our various states. So Nigerians are very eager and ready to. Now, please, sorry, I want to take a trick from what Dr. Osita just said about Okowa in Delta State. See, it's not. I'm not being trying to be personal here, but I'm just trying to state the fact. What Okowa is doing in Lagos State, with their manner of doing things, they'll still come out to deny it. It's their nature. It's not a new thing to APC government. If you remember, before the campaign officially started in Lagos State, the APC in Lagos State stopped every other party from having their posters or even having their jingles play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
So is an APC thing. Now, with this kind of attitude, one will now wonder the kind of Nigeria we will have after 25th February if we will re-elect APC into government again. So apart from that, I just want to say about that. Nigerians are very eager. They are in a high.
You have opened a big pot. Lagos State. Governor Sanwo-Olu appears to be winning, but with the killing of that lawyer Bolanle Rahim, APC is a bit jittery, but there are no oppositions in Lagos State. I can't see the PDP, I can't see the LP. Where are they? So people are left with.
You can't see them because they're not allowed to be seen. It's not as if they are not there. They are not allowed to be seen. Now, you're as a party in a state where you are not allowed to test your posters in the state where you are, where you are being selected, where you play your jingle, or where you do your rally, or where you do your campaign. How do you expect to see them? They're all in Lagos, but they can't be seen. So
wow.
They are in Lagos, but because of the
I'm
way,
really concerned. I'm concerned.
and that is the fear of a lot of Nigerians. With the way politics is being run in Lagos State, if APC candidate wins the next presidential election, this will be extended to every other state in Nigeria. And you know what that means to us? So that is it.
Thank you very much. This is very serious, and we will try and highlight it. Dr. Ibe, I know you live in Moscow, but this is very serious. Other governors of other parties not allowing other candidates to advertise or to campaign. It's very serious in Lagos. People may not know, but you put up Labour Party or PDP party banner, they tear it down and they will go for you. And there are so many thugs all over the place. Dr. Ebe, you think we have a solution to this?
Yes, we have a solution to it, definitely. There's a difference between thuggery and just lack of publicity. I believe Labour Party is trying, but I don't kind of feel that it's clear that their advertisement is mostly people driven, in the sense that the people who talk about Labour Party seem to be not what you see on TV, on the usual social media platform, but people really trying to tell you or defend Peter Obi or try to sell him to you. But more needs to be done in terms of official means of advertisement. I believe that not just because of my support for Labour Party, but also because of fairness. Let the message come out. Let them debate in all forms. Let all their messages come out, and let us see what they have to offer Nigerians, so that Nigerians can make a very informed decision on the election day. I believe in terms of it's not only about how people say I don't give shishi, but I believe there's some kind of operational expenses that are necessary, both in terms of advertisement, refreshment, as we've talked about, and trying to bring it out in much more places. I think that will be very beneficial in terms of letting Nigerians know what.
All right. I just have to thank you on that note because we have to go on a short break. When we return, should we allow the Chinese invaders to invade us with COVID in Nigeria? And also the new Naira currency, has it gone to your pocket? As Nigeria, how many Nigerians have seen it, talk less of spending? And yet we have less than 25 days to stop spending the old Naira. Where are you on this? We'll be right back. You don't go away.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better. The inside story. Your
Thanks for staying with us. It's still News Echoes talking about issues around Africa for the global audience. The well-known lawyer, human rights activist, and senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, has said that the Nigerian federal government should start checking and restricting people coming from China. It's been done in the United States of America. It's been done in France, Italy, and now the United Kingdom has joined. We don't want COVID to enter Africa through China again. To start with, we don't know where this COVID has started from originally. Now, China is the one with increase and still oppressing and suppressing its people. And people have been saying, look, you must restrict people from China from entering Nigeria. At least check them before they come in. And we have a load of Nigerians going to China for businesses. We have a load of Chinese coming to Nigeria for businesses. For God's sake, Femi Falana is saying, restrict them, check them? What do you say, Sir George?
You know, Canada was one of the strictest countries when it comes to COVID during the pandemic. I believe that it is a good idea for us to check the number of people coming from there and to ensure that when they enter Nigeria, that they need to be checked, tested, to make sure before they come into the society at large that they are, you know, clean and don't, you know, are not possessing such disease that they're going to spread in Nigeria. Because if it does happen, it's going to kill so many people in our country. You know, and people don't have the hospital system to go and check. You know, while they're suffering, they'll be thinking that their uncle gave them poison and they're dying in masses. So I honestly believe that it's a wise idea for us to check those things.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sita, in seat in Abuja, seat of power, you think we are thinking that way? The federal government thinking that way?
Some members of the team of the administration are, but some are not because they are lackadaisical about it. But come to think about it, we don't even know the monster we're dealing with yet. So why get careless about it? A medical doctor like Dr. Godwin Ibe will tell you that what science does for medicine is different from what art does for medicine. In science, you investigate permanently because changes come. So why wouldn't we check them? What is wrong with telling them, let's make sure you are fit to enter into this country? We don't know the monster yet, so let's take all the protocols. Let's begin now, today, to ask any Chinese or any Asian coming in to say, where are you coming from? Let's see how you are. Let's see where you're going to. How long are you going to stay? I think we should do this.
Yes, right.
Thank you, sir. Bidi, you are in a very congested state. Lagos with about 15 million people in a small, tiny landmass. If COVID should break through, it will be something serious. Do you think Lagos state government is doing anything? Have you had anything? Even the people, are they sufficiently scared to be informing the government that this should be checked?
They are not scared. So, you know, Nigerians, you know, Lagosians. The first thing is that today even believe that the COVID is coming back again. You and I know what happened the last time. They never believed there was COVID. Nigerians never believe it in Lagos. That is why you will see a lot of more. You will see loading people like sardine. So they never believed it. Even now, we are still talking about it. They don't believe it. Today, they really is a fallacy. They don't believe it's coming. Now, talking about Falana and federal government, this kind of thing doesn't need to be debated. We don't need people to tell us to screen these people and to check these people. Consider that we don't really have the good health care to take care of ourselves if anything starts happening. So it shouldn't be deliberated. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I hope government, because we know that government officials are watching us from Abuja. I hope they will take a cue in this. Let me ask Moscow. Moscow, you think is Russia doing anything? I know it's a bit political in Moscow because of what is going on, the Ukrainian war. As the Putin government, are they putting restriction, Dr. Ibe?
No, there are currently no restrictions, but generally. But I want to say something very, very important. Focusing on this restriction is, I don't know, it's like putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, it's repeating the same mistake that even China made. You know, focusing on lockdown, restriction, and all these things, like I see, is the all-encompassing solution. There's much more that needs to be done. The first one, of course, including the restriction, checking, doing the test kits, PCR tests, and all of that. But most importantly, we have seen that hospital capacity is very important. The ability of the public sector to take in sick people. And based on this, I can tell you that China is going to fare better than what we have seen in other countries that experienced the same.
But doctor, as a medical doctor, how did it come up again in China with their restrictions bigger and greater and tighter than any of the European countries? How come
exactly? Exactly. Now you're saying exactly my point, because any loophole in the system will mean more lockdowns, which affects the economy, and then it's always a trade-off. You want to prevent the COVID, but you don't want to close down your economy. And anything that closes down China's economy affects the whole world. I mean, though, including the United States. It's a very, very serious gamble. You know, how much of trade-off you want to do. And at the same time, not having the other more important factors, which I have listed. Number one, hospital capacity. Number two, universal health insurances. There will still be people who will fall sick, who will have complications. How are you going to deal with them? Are cancer patients not going to get their treatment?
Dr. One more question, and I'm not happy to ask you this question. In fact, I hate myself for asking you this question. Why will Moscow not restrict? Is it because of the Ukrainian war? Oh, I don't want to ask that question.
No, of course. There's no doubt that the conflict is having an effect in the plan, in both in the budget and in the plan of Russia as it is today. But it's now under control. Russia doesn't have the kind of increase that is out of control, and they also have vaccines. We have universal health care here. All citizens receive care.
No, don't move away. The politics of Russia-Ukrainian war, is it the one affecting the restriction of Chinese?
No. It's actually wrong. A wrong way to look at it, because this cancellation is not only in Russia. All around the world, we are seeing the lifting of restriction. It didn't start in Russia, and it's not going to end in Russia. So focusing on Russia is like missing the beginning now or the end. There's a general lifting of restrictions now. I'm saying the factors that help Russia in making
I'm
this
just
decision.
mindful of the time. Let's hear from Europe. Mark, representing Italy, Portugal, Germany, France. The Europeans have gone to restrict the Chinese entrance into their country. Mark, tell us something we don't know.
Yes, Europeans are also on this whole thing. I mean, there's a surge. There's a strong wave of COVID return in China. So if you're not taking precaution measures, you're endangering your people.
Why will Russia not be taking precautionary measures? Why will Russia, when Russia is a European country, it's just not on this side of Europe. So why are they not, and all the Western Europeans, they have taken such precautionary measures? Do you imagine why?
I think it's hypocrisy. Sorry to use that word, strong word, but that's what it is. Russia is trying to probably make China say, I mean, we don't need to make you look ugly on the world stage. But the fact remains that there's a surge, there's a comeback of COVID, and everybody needs to drop all forms of hypocrisy, all kinds of diplomacy and
politics.
Politics. And yes, that's
okay. Let me ask the proprietor of Diplomacy University amongst us, Dr. Sita. Dr. Sita, why will Russia, knowing them, a closed community, a closed society, why will they still not restrict? We're not saying fight China, but restrict when many Western European countries are restricting Chinese?
I think they will. Honestly, I think they will. And I think they have even started it, but we don't know. Because one thing you know for Russia too, they always want to tell a success story.
Okay.
So it might look as if they are not, but on the global scene, on the diplomatic platform, they have a way of winning by doing what they want to do, and then clearly define it in the end. They will definitely. If they're not doing it now, they will, because
thank you very much. Sir George, the new Naira currency will be the only legal tender as from the 1st of February. Yet 80% of Nigerians said they have not seen it. Even under 20%, they are still fighting whether it's legal tender or not. Tell us more. What should we do?
Well, I think they need to recalibrate and go back and change.
That's the word. They need that.
Because what is happening is, I think they have beaten more than they can actually chew and swallow. So that's the major problem. And this is exactly what we have been talking about. Why the rush? Why do you want to push this thing? While other countries, when other civilized nations, they will do theirs gradually and phase the old one out. I have seen the old $100 bill from the US is still in circulation.
Do you know what you have just said, Sir George? Do you know that the currency that is being changed in the United Kingdom, that the face of Prince Charles or King Charles will be there, it will not take effect until 2024. Not ending, but starting 2024.
Exactly. And what the bank usually would do is they would take the old ones, take it to the central bank and destroy it. So whenever they give out the new ones. That is a systematic process of, dispensing the new currency. But what happened in Nigeria, I believe, was that there was some information came out about hoarding of Naira, which was destroying the economy. A lot of people were afraid of bringing money out. They're stacking it because of the corruption. So, it's really a catch-22 type of situation. Damn you do, damn you don't. They call themselves right now.
Let's hear from people on the ground. Bidi, how many people in Lagos are using the new Naira currency? Do you see it everywhere, or you still use the old one?
Nobody.
No, are you serious?
I'm very, very serious. No one. See, I go to bank. I've been doing it deliberately for over 2 weeks. I use the ATM. I've decided to go across the counter. I've made some withdrawal. I've not seen the new Naira note. It has not circulated. Many people, this one they're saying 80. I think it's 95 Nigerians have not seen that new Naira note. And how would they say it? Like the hospital said, they were so much in a hurry to pass that bill. Then only them know why they were so much in a hurry to do that, to do such thing. Now, I actually did a voice pop to that, and I was able to interview some bankers. Do you know that even from central banks, they were giving banks in Nigeria few Naira notes. Now, for the few people who have seen it, if you go to withdraw, like, let me say, 100,000, let me not over exaggerate it. If you go to withdraw 100,000, they might give you 1,000 or 2,000 Naira new notes on top of it. No one has seen the new Naira note.
What is wrong with these people? Oh, come on. Let me hear from Abuja. Let's hear from Abuja. Abuja, is it the same thing, Dr. Osita?
I think Bidi was being fair. I'm thinking 99%.
Are you serious?
No, look at me. I have friends who are bank managers. I have colleagues, classmates who are bank directors, regional, whatever. They cannot give me a new note. Just for flaunting it. I can't find it. As a matter of fact, there's a young protege here. The guy loves me a lot. He's a POS guy, Hausa guy. I called him Musa, and I said to him, get me 20,000 and I put some new notes there. He said, Baba, buy new notes. I said, how can you say no notes? It's supposed to be in circulation. And he said to me, until if he finds it, he's going to keep the first one for me. POS.
Wow. Is that serious?
Yes, 99%. 99%.
And are they still sticking to the 20 to the closure of it on the 31st of
Yes,
January?
they are for now. That could change just like the volume changed.
But I think they will extend it. I don't think that will hold.
Dr. Sita, before I allow you to stop, tell us more. The governor of Central Bank was hiding somewhere in the US, claiming he wasn't well, heart problem. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, he was saying that they should arrest the DSS man. Tell us more from your place. He's not asking that the Director General of DSS be arrested.
It's the politics of position and impunity. I'll always talk about impunity. The fact is that people focus on the wrong things. There is crisis in our economy. There is crisis with our currency. There is crisis with our relationships. There is crisis that is coming with the politics of this year about its arrests, its power, its whatever it is. But there are also reasons for those people who are making the acquisitions, even if it's propaganda or just hearsay. Some people are claiming that there is 83 trillion robbery going on, 70 trillion robbery going on. Nobody has been able to say this is how it happened. So whoever is fighting it is fighting it with a very clean cause because there are no evidences yet. What Nigerians should talk about now is the kind of change that we're looking for. Every time in this program, we've contributed even to the risk of being arrested, something that could create this change that we're looking for. We need to get it right. We need to walk the path of honor. We need to become the Nigeria that the whole world is looking forward to. And we are already, just that we are not taking the steps. But I think this year, gives us the opportunity.
Dr. Ibe, how will you rate our performance, especially concerning change of currency? It's something that will affect every Nigerian in their nooks and crannies. And the Senate has asked CBN to change the date from 31st January maybe to June, and instead of that, they are fighting one another. Where do we go from here?
Yes, of course. I won't talk about the notes before addressing something I read in the Time magazine yesterday. The Time magazine posted that only 4 European countries have restricted flights from China: Italy, Spain, UK, and France. And in total, the countries that have restricted flights from China is 14 in total. So it's hypocrisy assuming that Russia should follow the lead of just 4 European countries and 14 in the world instead of deciding on a timeline that suits them best. And like Dr. Sita said, it may eventually be done. But then that is the real hypocrisy, putting so much expectation from Russia that you do not put on other European countries or even on yourselves. Now, back to the question.
Wait. It's because Russia is a superpower, isn't it?
Not because if you assume Russia is super, then say it every time and everywhere, not only in a place where the news favors you. Say it, repeat it everywhere in a way so that everyone hear, yes, Russia is a superpower. Yes, Russia is good. Then now say it every time, not only when you want to highlight.
That's why all these Ukrainian war is going on.
No, I'm speaking now about restriction, and I want to focus on this point and hypocrisy. I want to focus on those 2 terms so we don't go out of the scope of the discussion. Now, about so that we can tell the users, the viewers, the truth. And when you try to pinpoint a nation and use it as a scapegoat, I don't want that to happen while I'm here. Now, about the Naira
big. That nation is not small. Russia is big.
But in terms of population, Russia is about 140 million. The world is 8 billion. I believe in
terms of nuclear.
No, we're talking about COVID and humanity. We're not talking about nuclear weapons.
In terms of nuclear weapon, Russia has more nuclear warheads than America. So
but we are speaking about COVID. The topic is COVID and flight restriction. There are 8 billion people in the world. Only 140 million is in Russia. So when you make a criticism or hypocritical statement about hypocrisy, consider humanity, 8 billion. What has the policies been by the leaders of this 8 billion? Have they imposed flight restrictions or not?
It's a known fact that when China does things, Russia is always supporting, because of that.
Their friends, their allies is so normal.
Yes. But in this case, even though we're going on from the topic, in this case, it is point blank hypocrisy. The poll is there.
It's not point blank. It's point blank to you because you have refused to call hypocritical the policies of other countries.
It's hypocrisy because everybody is taking up. You're wrong to also say it's just some European country. It's almost.
I'm quoting a Time magazine publication I read yesterday. I'm quoting a Time publication magazine I read yesterday.
Okay, but let's
I did not come up with this figure.
Let's come to the topic.
4 European countries, 14 in the world, 8 billion people in the world, 140 in Russia. Be factual.
Okay. Yes, it's okay. But let's come to the topic on ground now because comments are coming on that. Why is the Naira not being circulated when they gave it?
Yes, considering Naira not being circulated, we already spoke about it that there are political reasons to why it was rushed. There are political reasons. Of course, it's the movement to cashless society. All that is good, but there are political reasons because of the election. We also know that. But what I want to highlight is the inefficiency caused by this. Anything that this change in currency is now a market barrier, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's now a market barrier because it has affected liquidity it increases the potential of fraud or ineffective trade. Like a lot of people in the village or who are not educated enough may not accept this currency or may accept a fraudulent one. And also, banks are still configuring ATMs to accept the new currency. To be frank, banks are still configuring ATMs to accept this new currency. So it's an inefficiency in the market, and it's definitely an artificial trade barrier.
Right.
There are more the government could have done
to
make it better.
I just received from one of our viewers from Lagos, wrote me directly. You know, many people are watching this program from Lagos or Nigeria. One viewer just wrote me directly because of access to my phone. He says, I have the new 500 Naira note, but true, banks aren't issuing much of it. And then I replied immediately, how easy is it to get? And this person told me, very difficult. I made several efforts, but failed. Now, this is the situation many Nigerians are finding themselves. Please, I want to give us 30 seconds each to say something on this one so that the Nigerian government can. I'm going to give everybody a chance for the Nigerian government to hear. 30 seconds each. Our time is up. From Sir George.
Well, 30 seconds is short to, say something about this particular situation, but I believe that the government should, come out. The governor of Central Bank should come out and just make a statement to tell us the reason why they are delaying and whatever obstacles that they have faced in releasing that note, and let the public know we are extending this, this January 31st. Let's just say to maybe March 31st. We need to do that. Yes.
I think it may be more than that. Yes, Dr. Sita, quickly from Abuja.
I think Nigerians are good people. When we know the facts, we work with the facts.
Exactly.
But this piecemeal attitude towards what concerns us is wrong. They should get it right with us.
Wow, Bidi, what will you be telling the federal government if you had to sit face to face with President Buhari?
What I will tell them that day it's not visible and it will not work. If we actually want to achieve what we want to achieve, cashless economy. Because secondly, let me shock you people. Do you know that these new Naira notes already have a fake? Yes.
Yes, they created it. When there is a lacuna, then there is fake. But your 30 seconds just over. Massive mark.
No, our governor, our CBN governor should sit up. He's still hiding somewhere in America. And that's to tell you that there's something also not right in the decisions he's making. I mean, if your conscience is clear, you should be out there following up with what you've said. So this whole thing looks like a sham, even though I took it in as a good move by the federal government. But it's beginning to look funny. The Naira is not out there. There are deadlines. People are wondering it's being made fake and all that. I think
thank you, sir. Dr. Ibe, as a well-respected man of the community and the chairman of NIDO, your voice is big, loud in Nigeria. If you are to be sitting in front of President Buhari, what will you be telling him concerning this Naira issue?
I will tell him, do not announce an extension now. Wait till the last week and then announce an extension. The reason is because
you do that?
You're doing that because it's clear that this extension is needed, but at the same time, you do not want people to rest on their laurels or not to make enough effort to move to the new currency and all of that. So you want to extend it, but at the same time, you know the way we Nigerians do things at the last minute, our African time. You don't want inefficiency.
The problem is not with the people this time around. The problem is
with the question, Dr. Shegun. Can I ask a question?
Quickly.
Yeah.
What will be the impact of making the announcement towards the end of the deadline? Please, could you educate us a little?
No, it's just one of the many things. I was just saying one that you announce an extension, but at the same time, you also need to.
Dr. Ebe, one thing I can tell you is that I will bring this topic up on Wednesday, next week, Wednesday. I'm sorry our time is just up, and I want to wish everyone Happy New Year. Dr. Ebe, I love you. I love Russia. Please give me visa, and I'll be there the following day. That's how far we can go today. We love you all.